just some quick notes, and I'm really happy to be here and moderate and talk to these incredible women. I'm Delphine, one of the communications manager at CIRA, and I mostly focus on thought leadership. And most of my career I spent it in France and Canada. And what I like to do, my day job, is to tell people what to say, how to say it well. So I am bossy, it's fun, I'm the boss. So I'm also a firm believer that women believe and belong in every room where we code, we research, we build, and we debate. We need to be in those rooms because we are part of this world. I have 4 incredible women with me today. They are accomplished leaders in technical leadership, security strategy, engineering, and human resources. And I think they bring a wide range of experience in terms of how we can engage women in cybersecurity. I will let them introduce themselves. Diane, do you want to start?
Thank you. Yes, I can start. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here to talk about women in cybersecurity and empowering women in cybersecurity. I work at KPMG right now, and I'm an employee at KPMG offering services around cybersecurity, privacy, and cryptography. I've been working in the cybersecurity field since the beginning of my career. I was trained in that. I'm not going to go into too much details because she's bossy and she's going to start me. So, we are going to talk about my part if you want, and if you have questions for me.
Hi, my name is Giovanna Fiorilli, and I'm the Director of Software Engineering at RPC. I've been at RPC since 2021, and I've been in various other banks as well. Cybersecurity is a part of what we do when we're doing software engineering. So yeah, that's just a brief of me. So I'll keep it nice and short.
Hi everyone, and thanks for having me. My name is Sanita, Alias, and I'm the Vice President of People, Culture, and Brand at CIRA. I have over 20 years of experience in human resources, mostly with technology companies, and what gets me excited is building cultures where people can come and do their best work.
Hi everyone, my name is Celine. I work at GIRO in information security. I've been in IT and security for over 20 years as well, in different fields like IT compliance, governance, service management. But what I love the most is continuous improvement. So there's so many things to do in this field, and security is very complex, so I want to try to decomplex it and make it easy for everybody to understand.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because from an outside looking in, it's kind of intimidating getting into cybersecurity. So I'm curious to hear from you and Diane, like, what drew you to the field and what passionates you, because it feels like you want to keep your career doing that?
So when I was in IT, I started working in compliance, IT compliance, so with different IT and cybersecurity teams. And then I realized, what do I want to do next? And then I went to a personal trip in Washington, DC, and there was this spy museum that I went in. And it was interesting to see that how a spy evolved throughout the years. So at the beginning, when you look at spying, there's like distinct devices which become smaller and smaller. And then the last room we're in is all dark. You're like, what's going on here? It's because cybersecurity, it's people trying to hack you in the web, it's trying to destroy nations, destroy like critical infrastructure. So I realized, wow, this is kind of scary, but I mean, that's why we need more people on the other side to protect, to help build secure infrastructure and security.
Yes, thank you. For me, it's really because I didn't know the term back then because I was what we will call now a math nerd. I was like math, all over the place. If you try to bring me to something that doesn't have math, I was like, okay, I can do it, but you're going to get the worst kid in the world. So just make sure that whatever I do in high school, there is math. And so when I graduated, I want to keep working in that field, and I had a chance to do a double degree telecommunication and cryptology. I tried to work in telecommunication for 1 year because I was like, let's try it. And I was like, no. So went back to what I love to do. And I've been doing that ever since.
That's great. For Sanita, you know, you have like a different way of entering cybersecurity. You see it from the vantage point of more of the HR part of the work and recruiting talents and making sure that you're building those teams. So to you, what are the sort of the biggest misconceptions about cybersecurity or women in cybersecurity? And why do you think more women should get into it?
So I think there are a few misconceptions about cybersecurity. One of them is that cybersecurity only attracts people who are highly technical. And the truth is, to do cybersecurity, you need to really understand risk, you need to demonstrate leadership skills, and you need to be a great problem solver. All skills that I think women have in spades. Another misconception is that women just aren't interested in cybersecurity. And I don't think that's true either. I think that there's interest and there's certainly talent, but we have work to do on having inclusive hiring practices and talent management programs that have people come and feel like they belong in this space. And then lastly, I think cybersecurity, there's a notion that cybersecurity doesn't require diversity. And I think that there's nothing that can really be farther from the truth. Cybersecurity is a field that requires diverse perspectives. There's lots of data out there that shows that diversity increases creativity, innovation, problem solving. And so if you're going to sideline half of the population, you're probably putting in a lot of risk and blind spots into the very processes and systems that are supposed to protect us.
Celine, you've been a cyber expert for quite a few decades now. I'm sure you have a take on that. What do you think are some of the misconceptions and how do you bring more people in?
Sorry. So Sanita mentioned a lot of those points already. So, like you said, technical skills is very large. It could also include skills in policies, laws, compliance as well. So sometimes in the past I'd be like, oh, I'm not technical enough, but that's not true because I have all this background that I have in compliance, different laws that are coming out that are affecting our everyday, our privacy, also like Law 25 in Canada, GDPR, different laws that are coming out and we need different expert, AI, ethics. So I think a lot of intersections between these domains, and then we need to keep up with all of this. So we need people with these types of technical skills as well.
We've just heard from the other panelists who talked about imposter syndrome. I heard someone say that they hated the term. I concur. But I'm curious to also hear from you, what do you think we could do to kind of overcome like some of the challenges and some of the doubts that we experience, and how did you do it in your career? Yeah.
Like you, people mentioned in the past, it's about surrounding yourself with people that can elevate you and listening to those people, your inner voice, like someone else mentioned earlier in a different panel. So, and to be ourselves, like we can lead in different ways. We don't have to be the loudest in the room. We can also take our time, take a step back, analyze the situation, and come back with a better solution. And I think, yeah, about being ourselves.
I'm curious to hear from you, Giovanna, in terms of tech in general. Like, how do you do it as a VP? How did you do it?
Putting imposter syndrome, correct?
Yes.
I always tell my people, show your work. Go out there and show your work. Don't be afraid to step up. Don't be afraid to contribute to demos or any activity that will demonstrate your abilities. Proof of concepts is one. Any idea that you have, step up, let people know, and get sponsored for it. And in this way, you get that recognition that, hey, this person really knows their stuff.
You again. There is, like, you have your role at RBC, Sanita serves at CIRA, and both of you try to cultivate kind of the culture of inclusion. You're trying to be accountable and make sure that your teams are accountable, but we talk words, but what does that mean, like, concretely? What do you do on a daily basis to try to create those systems or an environment that will truly engage women?
I believe that the one thing that is missing in most organizations, and I hear all the time, oh, we have this many women in the organization, and my question goes back, how many of them are in leadership? And there's not many. So I think we need to create an environment where women can influence the decisions in a company, and not just at one level, but upwards. That's the first thing. And you also need to have a career path, a growth path, an environment where they will feel comfortable and have that ability to grow. So that's something that leaders need to work on, which is not always the case.
Sanita, from more like a human resources point of view?
I want to echo a lot of what Giovanna already said, but I think organizations oftentimes focus on the attraction piece of talent and forget about some of the systemic issues in other talent management practices. So from an attraction piece, there's really simple things that we can do and that we should do. For example, we got to quit putting a laundry list of criteria on all of our job postings. We should narrow it down to what's really required so that more women apply. But from a development perspective, we also have to have really great sponsorship and mentorship programs in the organization so that women see role models and also get to work with people who are going to advocate for them. And lastly, from a retention standpoint, I think it's really important that you're going to focus on the culture. Women will leave if they don't get to speak up and if they're not heard. So you want to focus on creating a culture where there is psychological safety and women feel like they can belong.
More from an employee point of view, this time, Diane, from you, sorry. You help so many women and you're helping people in general get into their careers. So I'm curious if you have like any tips for the people in the room about, you know, how to move up the corporate ladder, how to negotiate compensation, salaries, like how do we concretely do it? I need to know, my boss is in the room.
Okay, so first a disclaimer, because this is a personal opinion. I have to say that it's not representing the past, present, or future employees. So this is my opinion. When it comes to navigating the corporate ladder and advancing the career, one of the questions I usually ask when people reach out to me is, do you want to be an employee? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Because it's not the same answer for this type of path. Now, for someone who wants to be an employee and who wants to get that promotion and keep getting promotion, do you want to climb the corporate ladder, which means sometimes compromising with your value or changing environment, because one person cannot change the culture of the whole company. You have to hear about what are your values, what you are ready to compromise with, what you are ready to accept. And are you ready to change environment if you are not getting that in your current environment? That's one thing. Now, if we are really specific about promotion, it took me a long time to put labels on that, but one thing that people need to understand that there are 3 distinct roles that you need to get that promotion. You have a coach, someone who is going to help you challenge your belief, challenge your assumption, help you grow. You have the mentor who can provide you with experience, who can give you assignment that helps you grow and showcase your expertise. But there's one key role that we don't talk about enough, it's the sponsor. Because when people are discussing performance evaluation, when people are discussing promotion, you need someone in the room who is going to advocate for you. You need someone in the room who is going to say that person deserves the promotion, and who is going to fight for you. When you are looking at the mentor outside your company, that person is not going to be in the room. So think about that. Who is that person? Who is the person who is in the room, and when they are discussing promotion, performance evaluation, they are going to say that that's the person who deserves the promotion. Otherwise, it's a little bit of gambling.
I'm actually curious from the other panelists, do you have similar experience, some tips you would like to share? You could share. Doesn't need to be confidential, just share with us.
Well, it all comes down for us goals. Goals are very important, and people often only put in goals 1 month before the performance evaluation because they're forced to do it, right? That does not show ambition. The goals have to be set at the beginning of the year, and it would be great to have a conversation with your manager and sponsor. There are the organization goals. So you have to make sure that your goals are aligned to the organization goals, and you should always ask help from your manager or your sponsor, like, how do I get to the next level? Will these goals allow me to go to the next level? Some companies also offer coaches, and they're private one-to-one, they're confidential. I know at RBC there was a few. So I think goals are very important because they allow you to see where that gap is that you can improve on, and it's not something where your manager says you're not doing good in this area. It's something that is very constructive. I think that really helps a lot of people. Sanita?
I want to build on what Diane said. I think it's really important to have what I call your own personal set of board of directors, a network of allies who, like Diane said, are going to say your name when you're not there. But also, I've had personal experience where someone saw something in me that I didn't know that I had, and so you want to really partner with those people and say yes to the opportunities that they present to you.
So bouncing upon opportunities, yeah, you have to take those opportunities, run with it, even though you're not sure of what you're doing sometimes. But then that's how you showcase your value. And sometimes you have to be a leader even before you get that position, because maybe that position is not available now, but it might be available in a month, a year. Someone will see what you're doing and they'll be like, oh, that person's already doing it, let's give it to them. But I think you have to just go ahead, don't say it's not part of my responsibility. Say it's a new challenge for me, and just go ahead and do it.
I'm taking notes. We had so many stats earlier about the number of women in cybersecurity or in the tech field in Canada. I'm also curious to hear from you, Diane and Celine, in terms of more technical things. What do you think are some of the specialization or areas like women should focus on, at least in the next 5 years?
So we talked about there's AI for sure, data, and also the intersection. So I think about laws and what's coming up. There's laws in Europe, like if you're dealing with, if you're a service provider working in Europe, there's some different regulations that are out there, but they haven't become laws yet. So it's to find out what's coming up and being ready for that, because there's so much to put in place. It doesn't happen overnight. So I think it's to learn, be curious, and do a lot of reading and use AI to help us as well.
Yes, that's really accurate. And I want to add, and it's going to be a little provocative, don't look at the fields that are great for women. Our brain is not like we have cells that are women and other cells that are for men and things like that. You are smart women, you are smart human beings. Look at what is the next best field for the intelligent human being that I am. It doesn't have to be about gender. It's for, I am smart, I want to advance my career, I want to grow. What can I do? What can I do with AI? Because AI is here to stay. What can I do to empower myself? What can I do that's going to align with my values? And on that, whenever we are talking about the next best thing, I also want to add never forget about financial independence, because whatever you choose to do, if you are financially independent, you can do it. You can go for it. If you are not, there are restrictions.
A few years ago, there was this CBC feature, and they were exploring how BIPOC, in particular, but underrepresented groups, were trying to. They felt like they have to overperform, and I think a few of us have felt that way. You have to overperform to be seen, and still you don't see the results, and you don't hear about your work. So I'm curious if you could share with us maybe a time where you had to kind of fight for your work, fight for your results, and kind of impose yourself and impose your work and who you were. And yes, if you want to try to say something.
When I was at the career as an IT, and I wanted to go into cybersecurity. I did different certifications, and I was going through the interview process, and then it didn't work out, but it wasn't because of me, but the challenges was like, okay, they see me in this role, and they wanted me to stay in that role, but how do I get out of that role? So I decided to still continue my role, but take on different continuous improvement aspects that I enjoyed, work with privacy and legal team to get those additional skills that I still wanted. So even though I didn't get the position that I wanted, I said, okay, how can I self-evolve with different skills? How can I do more? Showcase that, and then when the opportunity presented itself outside, I was ready for that as well. So I think it's sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want, but at the end, it might. Who knows what's going to happen in a year or two? You might get what you want eventually.
You're looking at me. So I'm going to come back to one thing that Giovanna said goals. Because if you want personal experience about that, a few years ago, when GDPR was adopted by the European Union, I was working for a company which didn't know that was a big thing. And I was like, this is a big thing, and I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. Fast forward, everybody is talking about it, companies are asking for support, and now I have two gentlemen who brings me in the room and explain to me, this is something that we are doing, we are the leader of the service. That's where goals are really important, because in my mind, we were not at the same level, because they were talking about something that was already in the rear mirror for me. I wasn't talking about that, because I was talking about that a few months ago, like 1 year ago. I was building the thing, I was doing the thing. Right now, I was at the step where if I wanted to jump to another company, I could do that. I had the support of the management, so whatever they were saying, I didn't even engage because I had my own set of goals. Back to what Giovanna said. And I was able not to react because I had that goals and I was set on achieving that goals, not fighting the battle of someone else. So sometimes it helps. Sometimes you also have to see this situation when somebody is taking credit of your work as a redirection. Maybe it's a way for you to reevaluate what you are doing and change course. And it's not a bad thing.
So for me, I want to share a story when I first started my career. It was 9-10 months in my first job, and I recently got a new manager. She was a VP. She had a very strong personality. And so when she would walk by, everybody would start to shake, be quiet, and go back to their desk. And I had finished my work fast. I was reporting into her. So she came by and she said, I have a project for you. You have to work with my colleague, the other VP. So I took it on, and we worked together. And when I finished the project, the POC, I sent the solution by email. And half an hour later, or 1 hour later, after they had this big room meeting or demo, I had two VPs coming to my desk. And she came and she slammed my work on my desk. And she said, "Do you know what you did wrong?" And I just started looking at the paper, and I didn't know what I did wrong. I was young, I was panicking, right? And then she points. She goes, "This is not your name. This is his name, but this is your work." And do you understand that? And then he's looking, and the whole office was there to see that he took my work and presented. So from that experience, a little bit later on, when I was doing some software development, I was the only female on the team. And each time it was, "Oh, we have technical documentation, we can give it to Giovanna, because women are good at documenting." And I didn't once, and at some point I thought about that experience that gave me strength, even though it was traumatizing. It taught me how to speak up for myself, because I saw a strong leader that came and put that paper and spoke her mind and made sure that everybody heard that. And it taught me ownership, and I said, "No, I'm not doing the technical documentation. I'm a member of this team, and I have the right to do coding as much as you do. And if you don't like it, I'll find another team." And that was it. I got my coding. So my message is you need to really stick up for yourself and know your rights, and that you are able to say no. Weigh in. I had, everyone already mentioned here, somebody that believed in me and taught me that in my first year. So I was very grateful to her strong personality.
It's so interesting. Sometimes it shows that you are bold to yourself and you feel like you're doing something bold, but to others you're just, being yourself and standing up for yourself. Sanita, I want a story.
My first job in HR, I was 24, and I was on the executive leadership team. So I was the youngest person in the company, but also the next youngest person was 15 years older than me. I was the only woman on the leadership team, and I was the only person of color on the leadership team as well. So there's been lots of times where I felt like people spoke over me, or I didn't get the credit for the idea I had. And so there's a couple of strategies I've used since then that have helped, including having really strong a network of allies for you, but also being able to speak confidently about your area of expertise. That's something that's hard for me, but we're all very intelligent people, and we are the experts in our field, so to be able to speak about it is really important. And then one more thing I want to offer as a tip to shift culture in your organization is when you're in a meeting and a woman has a great idea, repeat that idea and name their name, give them credit for it. That is a really simple shift, but it's going to create the visibility that other women need to be able to speak up.
I love that, and I will use that. It's interesting, we had this conversation before, we were talking about the difference between how education is now and how it was about 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago, or when we were children and we had to use a pen and paper like I do now, and I can't use a laptop to take my notes, I can't, sorry. It's shifted so much, and I remember, Diane, you mentioned the difference between being a skilled learner and a learner of skills. And I was so shocked because it was so true to me as for future students. Do you mind going back to that? And I think it could be interesting for other people.
Yes, I don't remember the question you asked when I gave that answer, but for me, there is really a difference between someone who is learning skills and learning a new skills, AI, everybody's talking about AI now, and somebody who is great at learning, a skilled learner. Somebody who is great at learning can adapt. Today it's AI. You are going to hear a lot in the next coming months about quantum. Tomorrow is going to be about quantum. It's going to be about cryptography. If you are able to learn, if you know how to learn, you are going to adapt. You are going to stay relevant. And you asked a question earlier about negotiation and negotiating salary. If you want to be able to negotiate your salary, you have to stay relevant. If your skill is a commodity, you cannot negotiate because I go to the supermarket and buy it. That's it. So really being able to learn a new skill, learning how to learn, that's key, that's important. And no matter how much we embed AI and information technologies in our life, that is something that human beings needs to cultivate. We have to do that. And somebody who learns skills is somebody who's going to be able to learn AI. But what about when everybody knows how to prompt or to develop a chatbot and so on? You are no longer relevant and you are not able to learn a new skill. So what happens to you?
She put the fear of God in me. Celine, you had also some great insights on maybe some of the skills we should have. You were talking about some of the certifications when we had this conversation, and you also mentioned like some of the tips maybe students could, get to build those skills.
I know there's different technical skills or certifications, but there's also transferable skills. So if I talk about the technical skills, students may not know that, there's like a certification called CIRA Plus, Security Plus certification that is fundamental and it's not too expensive and it's accessible to do versus other types of certifications which need like experience on the job, like CISSP. So a lot of job descriptions might say, this is a must and all, but in some cases, look for those that say it's an asset or transferable skills as well. I have someone in the audience who worked with me at a previous job. I hired her as an intern. So when we develop intern positions as well, you have to be more large as what you need. So you have to look at those skills that you require the job. So she came from a business analyst background, so not necessarily security, but we were able to convert her to permanent. She's very good at her job, so that's her over there if you want to go talk to her. But she's been a great example of adaptability, learning on the job, transferable skills, taking on challenges, and just doing her job well. So I think that's very important.
That's great. Before closing, I would like to open the floor to questions. Feel free to ask them any burning questions. I do all the time, and I will stalk them on LinkedIn after this. But go ahead. Sweet. No, I can't hear you. Yes, please.
So you've talked about how important it is to have a sponsor to start any type of project, but how exactly do you get a sponsor?
Okay, so I'm going to use the words, if you want to go deep in that, you can look at Kaya and Harris. This is the lady that really explained for me the difference between these two things. The first thing you need to know is that the sponsor is not somebody who is someone who likes you. It doesn't have to be someone who likes you or loves you and that you are close. Sometimes it's a transaction. The first thing is, most people, especially in the leadership, they like to be king makers or quick makers. They like to say, hey, I discovered that person, it's a hard skill. So if you're a rising star, it's easier for you to find a sponsor because they will love to have all the your success rub on them. They will love to be like, I'm the one who discovered that lady. So first thing, skills. Be good, really good at what you are doing. It's going to help you. And then the second thing is just ask. You don't get anything if you don't ask. Ask and look at the answer because sometimes they are going to say no. And if they say no, it's not because they don't want to be your sponsor. Maybe sometimes it's really that they don't have any influence. So ask. Be really good at what you are doing. Ask. And don't be afraid to be the underdog. I'm really talking about that because I know that we are in a culture now that everybody feels like they have to be an influencer, social medias. No, you can be an underdog. And being an underdog means that nobody is seeing you coming. So you have more room to make mistakes. And you have less competition because people are competitive with people they see, okay, that lady is a competitor, so I'm going to do everything that I can to just make sure that she doesn't get the promotion that I want. If nobody is seeing you coming, try to get what you want to get.
Is there any more question for the panel?
Just before we close, what is one thing, a thought, a tip that you would like to share for the audience to have when you leave today?
So cybersecurity is a really important field, and I want people to take away that you don't have to be technical to participate. Cybersecurity needs problem solvers, and everyone in this room has something to contribute. Whether you're journalism, policy, governance, you're a coder, you're a recruiter, the field needs people and you should join. I also want to add a saying that I think everyone knows already, but cybersecurity is a team sport. And what I want to add to that is diversity isn't just declaration, it is our first line of defense.
So, like 1 in 5 women are in cybersecurity at the moment, and there's missing like 100,000 jobs like in Canada. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for everybody, not just women, even neurodiverse, like different types of people in different sectors. So I think the more people we bring on the good side, the more we can counter everything that's going on with different attacks and all that. So I think we need diversity for sure.
So a lot of great stuff already, and I cannot repeat what you have said. What I want you to take on is, if you are at the table, you deserve to be there. Shift the mindset. I know that we talk about a lot about imposter syndrome. We have a lot of things that are trying to undermine new education, culture, the people around us. But first, one thing I do now is always remember, I don't work for a charity. They are not there just to give me someone because they are really kind. No, they are paying me because I'm good at what I'm doing. So, if I'm at the table, I deserve to be there.
So in 2025, there's so many technologies that are thrown at us. Everything is coming like super fast highway. Cybersecurity is a very big word, a very, very big field, as much as AI and whatever else is coming. So my biggest advice is always be curious and explore. Don't be intimidated by that big word. Just go for it, and once you start doing that, you're going to see, okay, you get deeper and deeper, and finally you'll find your place.